Pawpaw, Sammy, and Allybug here. I stopped by Samantha's Starkey's Farmstead, my daughter Samantha. The last 3 years, we have preached, I have, she has, do not till, no till gardening. All right, I got here this morning to deliver some wildflowers to her, and they had just rolled back the tarps. Those 2 big tarps was covered. What they did in this spot where I'm standing, the weeds had gotten up. If you look, they encouraged the weeds. You see them? Look out through there. But look at the crowd. Oh, corn, beans, squash, cucumbers, it's all out there. All right. What they do, they took the lawnmower through here and cut it out. Just let it lay. Just let it fall. They covered it. It sat here 6 months, and you see it. Made its own ground cover. All these little bitty stubble sticking up, which you can hardly see. I know you can't. About an inch out of the ground, that's weed stubbles. Little weed stems. They rot it into the ground, maybe 6 inches, a foot, 2 foot, who knows. And it opens channels, which brings the water and the nutrients down into the dirt, earth. It increases the bacterial count, it worms. And now, what they'll do is, they'll just let this sit on the other end down there where she's watering, with the sprinklers going. She'll plant there shortly, her winter crops. And she'll work that sprinkler this way, toward me, planting here. This will be burying all winter. And when this goes dead, okra stalks, corn stalks, you name it, they'll come in here and just mulch it with that lawnmower. And they'll drag these tarps. And this is not the only tarps they got. They got quite a few of them sitting over yonder. And sandbags to hold them down. They'll come in with the tarps and cover this. Just chop it down and cover it. Let the roots rot into the ground. It's forming its own ground cover, hay. So instead of buying a lot of hay now, she's starting to use what she's got as cover crops to rot into the ground. But she still applies the hay and the horse manure right there. So, people, I'm telling you, it works. I mean, she's not out here with a hoe, running around chopping and sweating. If your crops has got this kind of a head start on the grass, that grass don't really have a chance. I mean, it's almost bared out. Look at it. Everything's almost bared out, completely over with, and the crop just outrun the grass. There it is right there. Look at it. What can I say? The proof's in the pudding, people. Like and subscribe. This is not tilled up. This is strictly a no-till farm. People say, well, that's a row. Yes, it is a row. What she does, she takes a dried horse manure, rabbit manure, compost, and she puts it on the ground. She did not dig, she added, okay? It's been added to. See, if you look careful, really careful, right here you see the rabbit poop, piles of it, literally piles of it. See here? This is literally piles of rabbit poop, right there.
Okay,
now,
Pops, you want me to tell you how we did it?
Yeah, I just told him, you don't dig. That is road, go ahead.
Okay, so we are in no-till garden. What that means is we plant directly on the soil. However, this area has only been being gardened for about 16 months. So the clay soil is still kind of compacted and a little hard. So what we did is this is aged horse manure in straight, short rows. And then of course I did a row with rabbit manure because I'm going to compare and contrast how the plants are growing in the rabbit manure, which is fresh, versus the aged horse manure. We also added some worm castings that we make here on the farm on top of this. I seeded directly into, this is basically a heavy mulch directly on top of the soil. And then today, my goal is to take the hay and go between the rows, which will do a couple of things. That is going to keep grass and weeds from growing up between my rows, and it will keep the manure kind of in its area as it rains and we water. So that's the point. You guys come back and check with Pawpaw Sammy in a couple of weeks and you'll be able to see our fall garden growing.
Like and subscribe.